We're here at NVIDIA GTC for a very special on-the-ground edition of What the Future. As you can see, there's a lot of great robots here. We're going to show you all the humanoid robots that we saw and some we didn't. Let's get into it. NVIDIA GTC brought out robots I'd never seen in person before, like Neo Gamma, familiar faces performing new feats like Digit, and leading humans in the robotics business. We caught up with industry leaders from Boston Dynamics, Agility Robotics, 1X, and Disney to learn more about the specific challenges each company is trying to solve, their dreams for the future, and the technology that might help them get there. 1X had its Neo Gamma robot on display in a home-like environment, picking up a watering can, posing for pictures with the crowd, and vacuuming.
We're coming for you, Romba. Watch out.
1X co-founder and CEO Bont Bernick told us the demo involved a mix of autonomy and human operation, or as he called it, mixed autonomy.
In the beginning, in your home, the first few days, there will be a lot of teleoperations. You just want to bootstrap to where you can get the robot to successfully do the thing often enough that is useful.
Once the robot starts being successful in performing its new task often enough, Bernick says it will start autonomously improving, learning from its own failures.
What we are selling now in 2025 is not Rosie the robot. It's a journey to Rosie the robot. And if you want to be part of that journey, like I always wanted to be that since I was a kid, then this is for you.
1X says its Neo robot will cost less than a car and start being deployed to paying customers later this year. Right next door, Digit from Agility Robotics was following a standing order to pick any 3 items from the shelf, put them in its basket, and return it.
All of the items on the grocery shelf behind us were ones that we picked up here while we were at GTC. We literally went to a grocery store locally, got a bunch of items off the shelf that we had never seen before.
If you notice some beeps and boops in the background, that's Digit narrating each step in the process. I downloaded an app called Waiver onto my phone to see if we could translate. Moving to standoff. Placing. So you can see it's kind of talking out the different tasks it's doing. But my favorite is the I missed sad face. Picking up basket. When it isn't busy grabbing groceries at GTC, Digit is a hard-working robot that's deployed in warehouses and sometimes working full shifts. For safety reasons, in the workplace, it's confined to an enclosed space away from human employees, something Agility Robotics hopes to change with future advancements.
You have 2 parallel systems, one of which is figuring out what should I do to solve a task, and one of which is figuring out what do I do to be safe right now. And so that safe side definitely also leverages some of the AI technologies we're talking about here. So we've been approaching that by developing out safe human detection, which we'd like to incorporate into our next generation of robot in the next 18 months.
While Atlas from Boston Dynamics wasn't physically present at NVIDIA GTC, the company's CTO Aaron Saunders was. We caught up with him after a panel discussion to talk about this. That video dropped earlier the same morning, showcasing the company's electric Atlas performing some acrobatic maneuvers that it learned in a new way.
What you were seeing in those videos was an example of a human motion capture. So one of our people dressed up in a motion capture suit did those motions. We then take that motion capture reference and we put it into this software pipeline that generates a new control policy using reinforcement learning. And then we deploy that to the robot. So we can go from a single motion capture to an overnight run training policy to the first time on the robot working pretty consistently now. The thing to caveat is that you're still seeing single policies or specialist policies, right? So you saw one that ran, walked, did a cartwheel. The next step is to make a generalist policy. So I think generalization is going to be the theme for us and for the whole community for quite a while.
Last but certainly not least, we connected with a company that has a long history of making robots for a very different purpose, storytelling, which comes with its own unique challenges. This BDX droid, who seemed to be a hit with the crowd, is remote controlled by an operator who creates the personality and performance that makes these characters so engaging.
An operator is usually a creative director
But for more complex characters, it just also becomes difficult to control it with just 2 joysticks and buttons. And obviously you need some more autonomy.
That's Moritz Beecher, Associate Lab Director of Disney's Zurich-based robotics team, who told me how these BDX droids learn to autonomously keep their balance.
No matter what I do with the controls, they won't fall over. So that's a level of autonomy. That gives you a very nice interface because you don't have to worry about the performance of the robot. You can actually focus on your creative aspect.
There might be a temptation to think that more autonomy is always the goal, but Disney is a very interesting example of a use case where it's more about finding the right mix of autonomy and operation in order to maximize human creative expression and character believability. Beecher delivered a talk later where he teased some of the upcoming robotics research Disney is working on, including humanoid development, but that will have to wait for a future video. I learned so much at NVIDIA GTC and was really fascinated by the challenges the robotics industry is aiming to solve, the variety of use cases for these machines, and the creative potential.
I see this like beautiful future where we are able to interact so well with machines because of these abstractions we create through, whether it's like shape or color or all these things to like mimic emotions.
We're really focused on these human scale technologies right now. We're building robots that are essentially our size, our form, our strength. I'm fascinated by what would happen if we sought something that could be in our form but capable of lifting a ton.
This isn't something that's here to displace, labor directly or things like that. We're here to really augment and upskill what can be done in a facility.
Hope you enjoyed meeting the robots of NVIDIA GTC as much as I did. Subscribe to CNET for the latest and greatest robot news.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And that is to the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans here in the Western Hemisphere, and to the rest scattered abroad throughout the 4 corners of the earth who look like the other nations, but through the patrilineal lineage go back to the Hebrew Israelites. All right. And as you've seen from the video that was just played a few minutes ago, there's no saving this place. Okay. It's full steam ahead with the program. All right. There's no making America great again. All right. This is it. We are truly indeed in those last days, man. All right. You see the future advancement of technology being put on display. Look in the video. Just watch the video again if you don't know what I'm talking about. AI alongside with robotics. Okay. You had some of the robots that could what? Clean, cook, attend to the domestic aspect of everyday life. You had some robots that could what? Do warehouse work, do stunts. Okay? If I'm not mistaken, the robot that was doing cartwheels and breakdancing moves, I believe the guy said that was a motion capture that they have used for a human being to simulate the movements of a robot, okay? Which shows you what? Your actresses and your actors, they're not safe, okay, from being replaced by AI and robots, okay? Because why? They can easily use motion capture to capture your favorite actor / actress and buy out their voice all right to their rights to use their voice. They can easily give your favorite actor, let's just say Denzel, and buy out his rights for his movements, his mannerisms, his voice, and use this AI robot to perpetuate his life expectancy as a actor in Hollywood. Okay, because we know as these bodies break down, you can't act as you once did. But if you are bought out all right or outright altogether, they can use your likeness and images and capture it into motion capture with AI and use it as a robot and just keep using that over and over and over again to make money. Okay? So I believe the title of this lesson is going to be The Future is Now, UBI, which stands for Universal Basic Income, which is what the government or whoever's in charge gives to its people, its subordinates, to keep them, somewhat just above poverty line, somewhat afloat. Okay, and that's what America, and along with the other nations that's going to adopt this policy and this digital currency and everything else, is going to do. They're going to provide those that don't have the means to keep up with the advancements, UBI, and those that do, that they can use and that can help propel this system forward, they're going to give them whatever it is that it is. But we know it's going to be used and put on that microchip, because everyone will have that microchip implanted underneath their skin, pursuant to Revelation 13, the 16th verse on down to the 18th. Okay, so it's just all determined on your on how much your value will be in this new world order. Okay, whether you can move about freely or whether you are more restricted to things that you can do because you don't hold that much value as someone that they can use to perpetuate whatever it is that they want. Okay, but make no mistake about it, the future is now. We see the AI, the technology, the robots being put on display at that gathering. All right, here it is. They had a robot that could talk to you on your phone, that tells you, I miss you. And you can reply back to it. Okay, how much more when they put all that into the chip, that you're going to be able to talk to your robot using what? Telepathy. Okay, the ability to communicate with just your mind. We see that now with Neuralink, and the one dude who can use his mind, his brain chip, to play Mario Karts. Well, guess what? For those that can't speak and, do those type of things, with this brain chip underneath your forehead, you're going to be able to send signals to your robot to do what? To do mediocre tasks around the house. All right? So the future is now, man. All right? And it's going to be spearheaded by that chip, and along with that chip, UBI, Universal Basic Income. Because we know everyone won't have the same opportunities as they have now once the robotic industry comes into place, and it takes away a lot of people's jobs. All right? Which is what Trump is telling you. Or he isn't telling you. He's telling you that he's bringing more jobs to America, but he's not telling you who's going to be filling those jobs. All right? AI and robots. You humans will have little to no interaction with the new world, man. One robot can do the job and task of hundreds of people. You heard how he said in the video or the interview that they trying to get a robot that can lift up a ton. How many people do you think it takes to lift up a ton? If I'm not mistaken, that's 2,000 pounds. It's going to take quite a few people to lift up a ton. But you got this one robot that can lift up this ton that can replace at least 10 people. Maybe even 20 or 30, however many it takes to lift up 2,000 pounds. All right? So the future is now, and AI is here. Okay? Artificial intelligence along with the robots to pull off the task that's going to be used by the artificial intelligence, which is going to what? Essentially cause you people to have to break down and take help or aid from the government in the form of UBI on that microchip, man. Car plants. You see, all these tariffs are coming to a town near you where they're going to say what? Well, we're building a plant here and we're not having job openings, but we have AI and robots to fulfill those needs of that plant, of that factory, of whatever it is, that restaurant, that whatever. Well, what about the people? Well, if they want to be some type of, have some type of sustainability, they can take this chip. Because you got to remember, they're going to have these, 15-minute cities where everything is based around a 5-mile radius. Grocery stores, theme parks, movie theaters, all that's going to be well within the AI and robotic field of play, man. All within that 15-minute city. You come into these 15-minute cities, you're going to have that microchip, man, because everything is going to be hooked up to this AI and these robots. You want to come in and have a burger? You think you're going to go inside a restaurant and a waitress, a human being, is going to serve you? No, it's going to be a robot. You have these shoppers at Walmart that pick up items and put in these shopping carts for people that order so that they can have it ready by the time they pull up and put in their car. Well, guess what? We've seen that. We've seen how the robot was picking up stuff off the shelves and putting it inside shopping carts. There's going to be there's not going to be any job safe once everything is put into place, man. Okay? There will be not one job safe. Surgeons, doctors, lawyers, all the way down to your fast food fry cooks. There's nothing safe with AI. Okay? Because why? The future is now. All right? They got the technology. They're just waiting for everything to fall apart and then to use these robots to what? Quote unquote, save the day. All right? This is Isaiah 31 and verse 1. It says, help not in Egypt, but in the Most High. Verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. You see? Once the people actually see the vision, it's going to be too late. Once they see that there's no more jobs in store. Once they see that they can't afford the everyday, mundane things that they once was able to afford before the vast implication of these AI robots. Okay? Once they see that, it's going to be too late. They're going to have to go down to Egypt, represented by what? Authority. America. Okay? Egypt is modern day America, man. This is that light, that beacon of light to the rest of the world, man. Okay? All these other nations are going to get on board. Okay? It's just that simple. It's all part of the beast system. So it says, woe to them that go down to Egypt. Why? For help. And stay on horses and trust in chariots. Right? They're going to go down to Egypt and they're going to look for any type of aid that they can get, man, because they're going to see there's no real form of opportunity to be self-sufficient anymore, man. That's why it says, and stay on horses, because Egypt is represented today by America and all of its advancements. These AI robots, these are going to be the things that help people, or should I say, force people to take that microchip. Okay? Along with it, it's going to have your medical track records. It's going to have your UBI, your monthly, weekly, or yearly, or however much, or however they want to do and put on there for your sustainability to be able to, make it in this world. If you one of the few ones that can travel, it's going to have your passport on it, so on and so forth. Okay? And it says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Why? And stay on horses and trust in chariots. You see? You ain't going to have no other choice but to trust in these chariots, these horses, these mighty so-called quote-unquote marvels of Egypt. And it tells you why. It says because they are many and in horsemen. So let's start over again so we can get that all in context. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Okay? That's you peons, you Americans, you Egyptians. All right? And stay on horses and trust in chariots. All right? Representing, their might, their strength. All right? And you can bet this AI is only going to strengthen America for the time being. The people are going to marvel at his works, at his miracles, as it tells us in 2 Thessalonians 2. All right? It's going to be able to perform all type of miracles, man. We just seen a few of them on display in the video. But just wait till we get closer to that time, man. You're going to see people all of a sudden walking and talking, and you're going to be thinking to yourself, well, this thing can't be that bad if it has my cousin who got hit by a car able to stand up and walk on his own. Little do you know, your cousin is being controlled by a brain chip. It says, because they are many and in horsemen. Right. All these marvels and wonders, this is why they're going to trust this beast system when it's up and running at its full capacity. Okay. They're going to see, man, I can travel in a 15-minute city. There's everything I need to go within. You're going to have to travel by the way of whatever transportation that it's going to have, which more than likely is going to be self-autonomy. There's certain parts of America where you can go and see cars driving themselves and people actually riding inside of them. Okay, I believe one of them is San Francisco. There's a taxi company called Wayfair, where there's self-autonomous taxi cabs that drive the people. So they're rolling out the technology to try it out and see how the people are reacting to it right now before it's just here and it's made mandatory. Okay? So it says, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. You see, they rather go down to Egypt and receive this type of help and this type of aid and get this type of, sponsor or whatever. But they rather do that than to trust in Yahweh, man. Because once you take that chip, you've been compromised. Yahweh no longer needs you or wants you. Okay, you've let another man penetrate you by putting his seed or that chip within you, inside of you. All right? The Most High Yahweh no longer look at you as his, man. You're a reprobate, a castaway at that time, man. Okay? Verse 2. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, right? Once you take that chip, that's it, man. The Most High Yahweh is not a man that he shall lie, man. America will be destroyed. Okay, World War III will be here. All right, that microchip will be made mandatory. Okay, upon the arrival of our Lord and Savior, Yahushua, this place will be in turmoil, chaos. Yahushua will come back and set it off. Coming along with the what? Host of heaven to deliver the elect and to destroy the 2/3 and the rest of these heathens here in America. It says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of evildoers. You see, all you freeloaders that want to just, take this chip and think it's going to be good. I got a chip. I don't have to work. I'm good. I'm going to mooch off the system now. I ain't got to worry about nothing. That's right where Esau Edom wants you at, in that freeloading mindset, man. Because he knows that's going to cause you to sin. He's going to make it so difficult and hard for you to find any type of work, yet alone employment for you to be self-sufficient, that you're going to be forced to take that chip. Because why? You don't have any faith. You didn't seek the Holy One of Israel. Okay? This time that you have, you just made the most of it by doing what? Blowing your opportunity. All right? You didn't want to repent and turn back from your wicked ways. You wanted to continue to be a 2/3 Jake here in Babylon the Great, man. So guess what? You have to be destroyed here in Babylon the Great. All right? It says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. So guess what? Not only is he going to be here to put these Edomites into place, but all those that help him as well. Because you got to remember, all these other nations was complicit against us, the children of Israel, from finding out who we are, man. So guess what? They're all going to be pushing that same agenda as Esau, Edom, which is what? To get this whole earth chipped under the beast system. All right? And along with its inhabitants. All right? And if you're a 2/3 Jake, well, guess what? You're going to be destroyed right along with these other heathens, man. All right? So it says, verse 3, now the Egyptians are man and not the Most High. Right? As we stated earlier in 2 Thessalonians, Esau, Edom, he wants to be the Most High. That's why he's bringing forth this chip. Okay? The Most High put the spirit on this Edomite to think that he can be a God, to think that he could be the Most High. All right? With this chip. That's the pride that the Most High have bestowed upon Esau, Edom, to exalt him to the skies, to the heavens, so that he could what? Bring him down. Okay? That's how cold the Most High is, man. He gave this man the technology and he put the spirit on him to be proudful enough to think that he can be the Most High with this technology. So it's going to make for a great suspense when Yahushua returns, man. This man's pride is going to be at an all-time high. His technology is going to be running rampant throughout the earth. His military is going to be at its best. You know, World War III is going to be popping off. He's going to be showing his technology and everything else that comes along with it. And then when Yahushua comes, he's going to be scared, but his pride is going to be so much that he's going to think that his vehicles, his military, his technology can rival that of Yahushua. 2nd Ezra 13. It's going to be a beautiful thing, man, to see what? Yahushua put these other nations in subjectivity, man. To put them in slavery. So it says, Isaiah 31:3. Now the Egyptians are man and not the Most High. And their horses flesh. Right. Their military, their might, their technology, all that thing is just temporarily. It's not going to last forever. It says, now the Egyptians are man and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. You see, they can't give you eternal life, man. Esau, Edom has been trying for the longest to preserve life, to make himself a god, but he can't. His technology won't allow him to. It may be able to give you temporarily power where you feel like you're a god, but it's not eternal, man. You might be able to walk for a time being, but it's not eternal. See, their horses are flesh and not spirit. Okay? See, you can only get that from being an Israelite. Eternal life. A true power. That's what Yasharallah mean. Prince of the power, man. See, that's what Esau wants to be. He wants to be that God. He wants to have God-like status on this earth. That's why he's going to implement this chip. That's why he's going to cause as many that will not receive it to be what? Put away, man. Put down. He wants to be exalted. He wants to be lauded. He wants to be praised as if he is the Most High. 2 Thessalonians. Keep coming back to that. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4. It reads, let's go up to 3. It reads, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there coming a falling away first. So we had to be led away from our homeland, Jerusalem, into what? Captivity, slavery. It says, and that man of sin be revealed. Who? The son of perdition, Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man. Verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High. You see, that's his pride. He thinks that he is the Most High. He calls and exalt himself above that is the Most High. This microchip is just going to be the icing on the cake to let you know exactly who he is. If you had any doubt, whether if he was Japhet, if he was whoever else other than Esau, Edom, this microchip is going to tell you exactly who this damn sin, this son of perdition is, man. It's Esau, the progenitor of the Edomites, the so-called white people, the Caucasian. So it says, verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. This work is going to be his greatest work ever, as pertaining to having the people worship him, particular our people, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? Because 2/3 of you are already destined to take that microchip. And when you do, that's going to be him pretty much saying that he is your God. All right, you worship him. Okay? And woe to them that go down to Egypt for what? For help, as we read in Isaiah 31. So when you take that, woe to you. Okay? Because that's your end, man. It's just a matter of time. So it says, verse 3, now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh. I wonder, does that word flesh reveal anything in the Hebrew? Flesh of the body of humans, of animals, the body itself, the male organ or generation, kindred, blood relations, flesh as frail or errant. Man against the Most High. You see? So their horses is flesh, man. It's man. It's not spirit. Okay? It's just flesh. That root word. So we get the point with that one meaning right here, flesh as frail or errant. Wonder what that word frail.
Frail.
Of a person, weak and delicate. So man, this technology, his horses, his everything is delicate, is frail. Man, it's gonna collapse upon impact when Yahushua returns, man. Weak and delicate, frail. She looked frail and vulnerable. That's how this system looks, okay, compared to the Most High, man. This system is frail, man. But to you 2/3, it looks like it's invincible. To the 2/3, this system looks invincible. But for those of us that have the eyesight, we see that this system is frail. It's delicate. It's going to be destroyed easy. Okay? Yahushua is going to make easy work of this system when he returns. So let's read that again. Now, the Egyptians are men and not the Most High. And their horses, their technology, their military is flesh. It's frail. It's delicate. It can't withstand the hand of times, man. But for the non-elect, it looks like it will. This is where their help lies within. All right? Under a false god. They're going to let Esau, Edom, make him their god. All right? And it's all because why? They're reprobates, castaways. The Most High don't want them, man. Because why? When they had the time to seek Yahweh, they did not seek him. All right? So it says, and their horse is flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. Right. Those of you that are dependent and relying on the system, and the system itself is going to fall because why? It's frail. It's flesh. It's not spirit. All right. So don't worry yourself, man. You see, Jake, you're gonna be in a world of trouble once this thing starts to get put out and put into, motion. You 2/3 are gonna be out of here, man. You're gonna have no clue what to do. You're gonna think this system is what? Forever. Not knowing that it's all of flesh. It's frail. You're not gonna understand. Damn, man, that's some cool ass technology, man. Look at these 15-minute cities. These things are, all that's flesh, man. It ain't meant to be permanent. It's delicate. It's frail. It's weak. It's vulnerable. But you ain't gonna have no choice because you don't know what the hell's going on, man. You ain't gonna know that it's not here to be meant to be here forever. You're gonna think, man, this technology is second to none, man. Look at all the stuff I can do with this microchip. I can talk to robots. I can, see my grandma from the nursing home with a hologram. You're gonna think all of that is permanent, but little do you know it's all flesh, man. But you see, it's all designed and set up to deceive the 2/3, man. Because why? You didn't seek Yahweh, man. 2 Corinthians 2:11 says what? Lest Satan should get an advantage of us. We know that this system is flesh. It's delicate. It's not going to last. But it has to be made, physical. It has to be made to come to pass. This beast system has to be made to rise up in order to deceive those that aren't of the elect. This system has to come online. It has to look as if it's permanent to the 2/3 and the rest. That's the whole thing. That's how Satan's going to deceive the next phase of his operation is you people taking that chip. Oh yeah, this thing is going to work like clockwork, man. Everything is predicated around this chip. Your health, your travel, everything. And it's going to look, it's designed to look as if it's going to last for the next eon. The technology is going to blow some of your minds away, man. Damn, this thing can do all of that? I can get a checkup without even going to the doctor's office. I just take this chip and he can examine my body and give me the prescription through this microchip. Or I can go to the nearest pharmacy and pick up whatever it is that he's prescribed for me by giving my body a full once over. Like if you was to take your car into the car shop and they put that machine inside your car and it checks everything like your check engine light. Well, guess what? The doctor is going to have that same capability. When you have that chip, he's going to look at your body and say, oh yeah, you got gout in your foot. Here's the remedy. Or, oh yeah, you have this. Here's the remedy. They're going to give you they're going to be able to give you a diagnosis from wherever you are. You're not feeling well? Well, get in contact with your nearest physician. And guess what? They're going to be able to tell you what it is that you have to do to get rid of that ailment via by the way of that microchip, man. So verse 11 says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Because why? We know that it's flesh. It's delicate. It's temporal. It's not here to withstand the test of times, man. It's not spiritual. This man isn't spiritual. He's carnal. All right? And that's why the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Okay? It's spiritual. This book. Okay? So the future is now, man. This man is getting ready to move. You see the technology he has. He's well within his capability of bringing it. Okay? He's just allowing things to set up, and then he's going to get ready to move. All right? So it's here. Make no mistake about it. 1 Peter 5 and verse 8 says what? Be sober. Be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. If you don't know that this system isn't temporal or it's delicate and it's not here to stay, you very well may fall right into the trap, man, and take that chip. Because why? You don't have faith. You don't have any hope. Because why? In the time that you had to seek Yahweh, you didn't. So you're not going to know what exactly it is that's getting ready to come. All right. You're going to believe that this is it, man. This is the next stage of evolution for mankind. Merging AI with robots and humans. You're going to think this is it, man. Little do you know, man, this shit is just temporarily, man. It's just flesh. It's delicate. There's nothing that's going to come from out of this that's going to help you receive salvation. But on the contrary, you take it, that's going to be your destruction, man. So it says, be sober, be vigilant. You got to stay in this truth, man, all the way up until that time, until Yahweh Shai returns. It says, because your adversary, the devil, and don't get it twisted, man. He's gonna sell you some pipe dreams that if you don't know, you will fall completely for it. That's why we read 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. You see, he ain't gonna be able to fool the very elect, man. The elect is gonna see right through it. Why? Because they've stayed faithful and true all the way into the end. All right, and essentially because they was preordained from the beginning, from the foundation. All right. That's why we're praying we're of that number, man. That the Most High shows mercy on us when he allows this devil to roll. Because make no mistake about it, this devil's going to roll, man. He had Revelation 12 and 12. He knows he has but a short time. So he's got to make his move. He's got to roll these things out now. All right. He could put it in your face because he knows he's setting up the okie doke in the back where he's coming with the scenario where in order for you to eat and this and that, you're going to have to take that aid, that help. Woe to them that go down to Egypt. You're going to have to take it. You have no other option. You don't have faith. You don't have trust. You don't trust in the Holy One of Israel. So guess what? The Most High is going to give you over to that reprobate mind. And you're going to take that chip and you're going to be a castaway. All right? That's your lot. For a 2/3, that's your lot, to be a castaway, a reprobate, man. So those of us that take heed and listen, we saying, repent and be ye converted, you know, and pray that the Most High shows mercy when this time comes, that we're fastly approaching. That's why we continue to, exhort and, just keep the name strong, man. And warning our people, hey, get yourself together, get ready. We don't know how it's going to go down when it goes down, but we know it's going down. Okay? So be sober, be vigilant. 2 things we got to do. If not, hey, we can easily fall off, man. And we don't want the Most High to cast away his presence from us. take not thy spirit from thee, and cast me not away from thy presence. Psalms 51:11, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Who can I get to believe that this system is going to be permanent and don't know that it's temporarily, that it's flesh? Who can I get? Oh, I can get the 2/3, man. Yeah, they're going to buy hook, line, and sinker. They have no idea that the kingdom is getting ready. Our kingdom, speaking as the Edomites, is getting ready to come to an end. We're going to get as many of them as hooked as we can before we get taken out. You see, they're going to hook a lot of, I ain't going to say our people because they 2/3, man. They're going to hook a lot of 2/3 Jakes out there, man. We ain't feeling sorry or bad because we don't warn you. We done told you. We did our job. But you don't have faith. So guess what? You got to get caught by this man, by this fowler. Okay, you're going to get caught in his snare. You're going to get taken by his trap, man. And that's just what it is. That's your lot. To get caught. To get caught and snared by the fowler. All right? Because why? You didn't want to take heed, man. You didn't want to take heed while you had the chance. So you're going to be handed over to this AI, these robots, and whatever else Esau Edom is going to use to make himself look more than what he is. But it's all just by flesh. It's all temporarily. All right? So that's going to be the end of this lesson. With that being said, pray someone was edified through this edification, through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.